Ramesham Bhaje Ramena Bhiyata Nishacharachamu Ramaya Tasmai Namaha Ramannasti Parayanam Paratram Ramasya Dasosmyaham Rame Chittalayas Sada Bhotume Bho Rama Mamuddhara Rama Rameti Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranama Tattulyam Rama Rama Varanane Ayun Rulrak Eyong Ayauch Hayavarat Lan Nyamanga Nam Jabai Garadash Jabagaradash Kapha Cha Cha Tha Cha Cha Tav Kapai Shashasar Hal Iti Mahasha Sutrani. Okay, so today I think what we can start with you on page 89, as you can see on your screen. We'll derive these endings, what he has given on page 89 for the Parasnipada and Atmanipada. Before, just right on the outset, I want to mention a very simple rule for recognizing this, Lit Lakaraha is that if you have the endings which you are used to seeing in the Lat Lakaraha, which I think most of you are familiar with, Bhavati, Bhavataha, Bhavanti, Bhavasi, Bhavataha, Bhavatha, Bhavami, Bhavavaha, Bhavamaha, and there is no Sya before it, then that's going to be a Lat Lakara form. If there is a Sya before it, most of the time it will be a Lit Lakara form. So even if you don't know any grammar, just look at the ending and see there's a Sya form inside that. So a little bit tricky is that sometimes the Sya might undergo some sandhis. The Talavya Sa might become a Murdhanya Shakaraha, and it will be a bit hard to recognize. But as long as you can strip out the Sya or the Shya inside there, then you can know that it's a Lit Lakara. So very, very simple. This Lakara is very simple to spot. Unless you're composing, if you're only reading, it's really extremely simple. Now I think in Gita, I think only one place this rule doesn't work. I think Namasyati, I think somewhere it comes, Namasyantashtama Nityam. So that Namas actually becomes a Nama Dhatu. It happens to be a Sakaranta Nama Dhatu. And then the Pratyaya Ya is coming there. So that's one of the rare cases where you have a Sya form being generated independently of this Pratyaya Ya. So that happens very rarely. But for most of the time, if you 99% of the time, if you have the same endings as in Lat Lakara, and if you have the Sya Pratyaya inside there, then you can pretty much assume there's going to be a Lit Lakara form. Okay, let me get my Gita text going. Bhagavad Gita, okay. Good. Okay. So let us start by deriving these endings. This is going to be repetition for most of you because that the same rules that we have in the Lat Lakara are going to come in here in the Lit Lakara. Why is that? Because that in the Lat Lakara we get the, and let me just put this in the document. Let's start today's document. So the first thing I mentioned that is that to recognize the, let me just do one more thing because I need to start my Baraha Direct. Let me start that, just to get that going. Okay. So what I was saying is that to recognize this, the Lit is very easy. Lit form is very easy because all you do is that the look for the look for the same endings as in Lat, and it has the Sya Pratyaya inside there. So keep it very simple. And then of course once you know the form, you can then try to strip out more things that you know about. And you, of course, we learned about the Idagamaha today. So that's one thing you can try to recognize. The rest of it only Sandhi rules. There's nothing much to this Lit Lakara at all. Because remaining all what we see in this chapter is either some rules about the Idagamaha or the Sandhi rules. Now, Idagama will be always be in front of you. You know, if you're not composing, it's going to be either there or not there. So you don't have to, of course, if you want, you can go back and try to figure out why it came or why it didn't come. But otherwise, it is already there in front of you. Remaining is only Sandhi rules. So there's nothing to it. Same ending as in let, but has the siya pratyaya. Okay. So now what we're going to do today is derive these forms that we has given in the book. And I'm, again, apology to the old people because this is going to be repetition for many of you. But for the new people, it might be good. Anyway, it's good to refresh these new rules because we haven't had looked at these in a little while. So let us go there and see what we can do. Okay, let me try to find. Okay. Now, what he has given is the Syami, Syava. Again, as I mentioned to you, in the English books, they put the first person on top. In our parampara, the Vedic parampara, the Prathama Purusha with the English third person actually comes first. Because the Panini rule, the Tip Tasji rule, which we saw, 3478, we start with the Tip Pratyaya and then go that way. So that's the first thing not to get confused with, is that you try to maintain one or the other order. I like to go with the Panini order because you start with Tip Tasji. So the Tip Pratyaya is listed first in that order. So that's 3478. And again, as I mentioned to you, the first person in English is actually what they call Uttama Purushaha in Sanskritam. And then the third person is what they call the Prathama Purushaha. So that's a very, very confusing thing. Please keep that in mind when you are doing any of these, looking at these English books, So maybe I'll put that here, is the Prathama Purushaha. Prathama Purushaha is the, is equals to the English third person. In English grammar. And the Uttama Purushaha is the first person. Equals to the first person. Okay. So now, first thing, let's take an example here. Just take the dhatu, a famous dhatu, bhu sattayam, and let's compare the lat with the lit. So let's start with the dhatu bhu, and if we had the lat lakaraha, then what we would do is that we would first, the one step is common to the both of them, which is removing the it letters, and then taking sutra number 3478, Tip Tasji, and bringing all the endings. Now, as I mentioned to you, each form should be derived individually. But since there is common work in those forms, we derive the base and just add the pratyayas, mechanically. But assuming that base does not change. Now, in this case, it will not change, but once in a while you get into trouble when you do that. When you take these kind of shortcuts, then once in a while you end up, getting into some problems. So really what you should be doing is taking each form individually, start from, bhu, dhatu plus lakaraha, and go that way, okay? So, but we're going to skip some steps because we're going to get the common base and then add the endings. So bhu plus lat, when we do, then we take out the halantyam, the takara goes, upadesh ajna nasika it. Even the la would have been an it by lashakvatadite, but because Panini has said lasya in 3477, clearly he wants the la to be replaced by those various endings, one of those 18 endings as the case may be. Not only that, the la has no prayojanam as an it. I told you before that the la should have every it should have a prayojanam. Once in a while, even though everything else is satisfied, there will not be an it sanya because prayojana bhavat it sanya nasti. So either way, because of vachana samarthyat, Panini says lasya. So the lasya sutra becomes useless unless you leave the la behind. And secondly, because it has no prayojanam. So both for these two reasons, even though we have lashakvatadite, that la is not an it. So we only use the upadesha ajana nasika it and the halantyam. these Itsanya rules from 132 to 138. You should definitely make an attempt to try to at least keep this handy at all times. Okay. So then we take the ending as the case may be. So now we have bhu plus la only is left behind, and then we now apply 3, 4, 78 as depending on the vivaksha of the speaker. So vaktuhu vivaksha apekshyate. It depends on what he wants to say. And assuming he wants to say the third person singular, again going by the Paninian order, we will take the bhu plus tip. Okay, these are always the first steps. No matter what lakara form you have, the first step is take the dhatu plus lakara, remove these letters, leave the la behind, apply 3, 4, 78, and get the pratyaya. Now the tip pratyaya, the lat lakara is by what sutram? It's vartamane lat. That also you have to remember. You want to bring in the lakara, you have to use some sutram in third adhyaya. So we use vartamane lat. That's 3 to, I think, 123 is vartamane lat. Now the lat lakara itself was also pratyaya. And because of tingshis sarvadhatukam, ardhadhatukam sheshaha, the lat, every lakara to begin with is a pratyaya which is ardhadhatukam. Because only tingshis sarvadhatukam, ardhadhatukam sheshaha. Now, but when you bring in the pratyaya tip, because of the tingshis sarvadhatukam, that pratyaya tip is going to be sarvadhatukam. But only in two lakaras, even the tip becomes ardhadhatukam. So normally tingshis sarvadhatukam, so the tip, etc. are going to be pratyaya which are sarvadhatuka. But in two lakaras, the tip tasji also becomes ardhadhatukam. And those lakaras lit and ashir ling. Towards the end of 3.4, we have these two sutram, litcha and lingashishi. Lingashishi and litcha. Because right after these two sutrams, tingshis sarvadhatukam, ardhadhatukam sheshaha, they come towards the end of 3.4, which makes sense because Panini wants to include all the pratyayas in the third adhyaya which he has introduced to come after dhatus. And you can see the last, the 3, 4, 1, 1, 5, 1, 1, 6, litcha and linga shishi. In the lit lakara and in the ashir ling, the tip tasji itself becomes ardhadhatukam. What that means is that you do not get the shap adi vikaranani na sambhavanti, because the shap etc. can only come sarvadhatuke. Kartari shap sarvadhatuke. That's our next step now. The next step is that the moment you have tip tasji, which is goniya pratyaya sarvadhatukam, and right now we're talking about kartari arthe only. We're talking about the active sense. The passive and different things happen. We'll look at them later. So right now we're talking about kartari, means in the active sense. And there 3168 says kartari shap. Kartari shap. So that shap comes in there. So 3168 apply 3168 at this point, and then we get the kartari shap. Okay, now why am I doing all of this? Because I want to show you that the reason why this let and lit are very similar is, and of course also use this as a chance to revise some of these things, which hopefully will be second nature to you very soon. But for the time being, we will do a little bit of that. So bhu plus shap plus tip. Okay. Now what happens is that in the shap, of course, the lashakvatadyate, the talavi shakara is in it, and the pakara by halantyam, kevalam akaraha avashishyate, only the a remains behind. So now we won't put the numbers there. I think all of you know by now the sutras. So, and what that does is that because of sarvadhatuka, ardhadhatuka yoho, the bhu takes gunaha, becomes bho, and you apply the echo yavayava sandhi and become bhava. So that's how you get the base bhava. So we have applied the sarvadhatuka, ardhadhatuka yoho. What that says, if you have pratyaya which is sarvadhatukam or ardhadhatukam, then the ending ach of the angam will take gunaha. And then this becomes, the bhu will become bho. Then you do echo yavayavaha become bhav. That's 6178. And then, so now we have the angam bhava plus bhava plus tip. Of course, tip also you can include the halantyam removes the pakara. Well, I will remind you one thing at this point is that when you have pratyaya which is sarvadhatukam, always mind that sutram which says sarvadhatukam apit. Sarvadhatukam apit. So if that sarvadhatukam happens to be without pers and it cannot do any guna or vruddhi. It cannot do that. Sarvadhatukam apit becomes nitvat, and then by kiniti cha. So this 1, 2, 4 and 1, 1, 5 should always be checked the moment you have pratyaya which is sarvadhatukam. Sarvadhatukam apit. So this is like an if-then statement. This whole Ashtadhyayi is a computer program. So you should learn how to run this program. It has a lot of subroutines. It calls different procedures. It puts in different tags. It's one nice program, which you can learn how to run at least parts of it. So the moment you say sarvadhatukam, this 1, 2, 4 first kicks in and says sarvadhatukam apit. So that is what the routine is set up in such a way that the moment sarvadhatukam is said, 1, 2, 4 comes and checks it out and says, does it have pers and it or not? If it doesn't have pers and it, then immediately becomes nitvat. Then 1, 1, 5 comes and says that kiniti cha guna nishedha, cannot do any guna. So always keep these two in mind. These should now be automatic checks for you all the time. The moment your pratyaya which is sarvadhatukam, always check 1, 2, 4 and of course 1, 1, 5 behind it. So for all for any pratyaya, for any sarvadhatuka pratyaya, make this a habit. Never don't do guna directly. Always mind and check these two sutras. I mean basically 1, 2, 4. So sarvadhatuka pratyaya. Then check. Okay, so check 1, 2, 4, and then behind it will be 1, 1, 5. Then 1, 1, 5. Of course, 1, 1, 5 is a much bigger domain. 1, 1, 5 is telling us any pratyaya which is kit or gnit will not do guna vruddhi. But 1, 2, 4 just makes all these sarvadhatuka pratyayas which are without a pers and it, makes them nitvat, that kicks in 1, 1, 5. Okay, well right now we had shap and tip. These both have pers and it. So we did not have any issue with 1, 2, 4 could not touch them. So that shap could do the guna of the bhu, became bho, and it became bhava, etc. In fact, if you look at the gana vikaranam, the sixth gana vikaranam is sha. So between the shap and the sha does not have pers in it, while the shap does have it. So that is one of the differences that it creates. Okay, so we have bhava plus ti. So let's do the same thing for the lit lakara. So we'll skip some steps now. So bhu plus lit, again halantyam, upadeshajana nasika it, lasya, tip tasji. So we get the same step bhu plus tip. So up to that bhu plus tip, we have the same steps, nothing different. In fact, those steps will be the same pretty much for any lakara that you bring in. Up to that first 3 steps are the same all the time. So from now on, we will not repeat them now. We will only start from, of course, we'll mention them and just, on the document, we'll only start with this bhu plus whatever the dhatu might be, that tiptaji will start with that. But you should start with the dhatu plus lakara. That's what you should start with, but now we can skip that. So bhu plus, hold on, something happened to my document. Okay, let me see. Oh, what happened? Kalpesh, any guesses, Kalpesh? What's going on here? No. All right.
Sudhiji?
Let me try to save. Yeah, I don't know what I've done. I did something, obviously. Can you try to save it, maybe? I have the document open.
Let me see.
I think it is saved. It's saved. I'm not able to edit it for some reason. It does.
It says I'm editing also. Okay. 1 second. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it seems to have saved. What you could do is you could just refresh.
Let me try to refresh or get back in here.
Yeah.
No, refresh ain't working. Okay. Let me try to just re-log in and see if I can.
Oh, I think you have some protected mode in is currently turned off.
That is good because without that I cannot do Devanagari.
I see, I
That
see.
one. Okay, let me just shut this page off and let me try to come back. Won't even shut it off. That's bad news. Okay, let me try to see if I can gracefully exit this one. No, it won't do anything with that. Let me try to open a new. No, okay. Okay, let me try from here and see if I can go back there. No, that won't do it either. Try to shut this off. No. Sorry to waste your time, but my Explorer seems to have. Let me try this. Okay. No. You have to. Okay, I don't want to not type because then that will lose the class, so I don't want to do that. Let me see if I can try to save this in any way. Okay, now it's doing something. Let me see. Oh, maybe my mouse key was on there or something. Okay. Okay, I think I'm back into this. No. Okay, let me try that. No. Try this. Okay. Okay. I don't know what happened there, but I'm back anyway. Okay. Sorry about that. So okay. So we'll start with the oh, but my font is gone. Okay. So we'll start with bhu plus tip, the same steps. But here what happens is that here when we come from the lit lakara, now we would have had the kartari shap still wants to come. But instead the apavada comes shyatasi lutoho. So that 3133 overrules our usual 3168. So the kartari shab did not say any specific lakara or anything like that. As long as you have a pratyaya which is sarvadhatuke, the tip is sarvadhatukam, then if it's kartari arte, shab comes in. But 3133 specifically says that it is only for this l, means l includes the rit and the lrung. For these two, pratyasya comes in this. This is it's apavada for the shap. Shap has apavada means what? It should be a subdomain. So it is a subdomain because the kartari shap didn't care what lakara anything was there. This one is specifically for these two only, these three lakaras only. So clearly it has to be given a chance in a small domain. So 3133 will overrule 3168. So this overrules 3168, and we get the bhu plus sya plus t. And now the only thing to check is that idagamaha, which we went to detail last time, this is dhatu ending in long u. Now most of dhatu ending in ajanta dhatus are prayana anitaha, but udru dantaihi. One ending in osatya is a question. Can you unmute him? I got it. Yes, Satya.
Just wondering, not that it makes a difference, but the siya should come as soon as root is introduced, right?
That's a good question. The reason was let's look at that for a second. What Satya is saying is that in the case of shap, we have to wait until the tip comes. The reason for that is that the shap can only come sarva dhatuke. Anuvritti of sarva dhatuke is there for the. So let's look at that. Let's look at the what Satya is saying is that for the 3168, the anuvritti comes of sarva dhatuke. So until the tip comes, the shap cannot come. But for 3133, there is no such anuvritti. It only depends on the lakara only. That's all it depends, nothing else. So but these are both nitya karyani. Nothing can stop the tip, nothing can stop the siya either. So I think probably it's a moot point. So it doesn't matter because only when you have viprati shedha, then only there is an issue of which to do first. But actually, in answer to your question, maybe how about parakaryam then? Will that going to help us any?
No, I'm just saying that you don't need to then worry about Kattari shop at all because.
No, we look, see now there are two rules coming for operation, right? One wants to put just here, one wants to put the tip. So now when these two rules are coming, of course there's no Vipratisheda, so it's a moot point. But even if we want to take, shouldn't the Parakaryam come in first? It won't make a difference anyway. I know that, but I'm saying,
then you can make that argument.
So I think we can make the argument that the tip should come in first because it's Parakaryam. But if you want, I'll check in Shastra what Shastriji has to say. Maybe someone can, while I'm doing it, someone can check that in the book. Okay, so someone check in the. I'll do it actually. I'm right there. So because that the tip coming in is a parikaryam to all these rules because it's true in the lasya dikara it is there. So generally nothing stops that the tip. Let me check. So
Satishi, and the tip will still continue to be root, right?
Yes, no, that is fine. Yeah, also Kalpesh is making a good point because Sthanivat Bhava it has. So that tip has Sthanivat Bhava. So it can, because the question is that no, the tip has come. Then can we still apply 3133? 3133 requires, R lutoho. We have tip now. But that came in place of the rit. So it will have the Sthanivat Bhava. So that sya can still come. So that is correct. Let me look at what the way the Shastriji is. Somebody's phone is ringing. Okay. Let's see. I'm on page 47 of book 2, by the way. So let me see if I can see. The first thing he does is bring in the tip, Satya. So if you look at page 48 of volume 2.
Oh, my way does the tip.
Yeah, first Shastriji brings the tip and then the
Yes, yeah.
So I think probably he's not giving any reason for that. But I think
Satishi, page number 41 for Siyatasi Ruruto, the Lagu also says it's a Shapavada. Shabadhyapada.
Correct. Yes, okay, because then you have what Kalpesh is saying, if the shap is not praptam, how will be apavada for that? Correct. Okay. So then the lagu itself is saying that. Okay. Shab adi apavada. Okay. So then I guess you have to bring in the tip. And then at this point the shya becomes apavada for the shap. Because shap is a much bigger domain. So that's, yeah. Lagu itself says that. So that is still correct. Okay, good. So anyway, thank you, the group, for clarification. So we'll maintain that the first step will always still be the lasya and tip tasji. So it comes. Now the idagama, we already talked about that. So because of the 7 to 35 ekach upadesha anudattat, we're going to bring in the idagama, and then the sya pratyaya is ardhadhatuka pratyaya. And by the way, when the idagama comes, what happens is that we now have the situation where we have bhu plus isya plus the tip. Remember one thing, the agamaha does not a separate unit. It just comes and joins to that block, and that block becomes bigger with the agamaha. So the agamaha cannot interact with anything. It only comes and joins that part. So pratyaya has now become isya. So just like the sya was ardhadhatuka pratyaya, the isya also is the same ardhadhatuka pratyaya. So the isya can do the guna of the bhu by sarvadhatuka ardhadhatuka yoho. Again you get the echo yavayava sandhi, becomes bhav, so bho becomes bhav and become bhavisya. So right now we have bhavisya. Now you can see a similarity between, so the same rules, the same to which we did before, which is the sarvadhatuka ardhadhatuka yoho gunaha. And then we can bring in the echo yavayava and make the bhavanga. So now what happened is that after all of these steps, when you ended up with the form bhavisya. Of course, the sya is going to become shya when you go Tripadi section. For the time you can keep it bhavisya for the time being. We will leave it as it is. So now what has happened is that look at the ending. So we have an angam ending in the rasvanta angam, rasva adanta angam. So we have the rasva akaranta, I should say. So akaranta angam we have. followed by the ti. So when you have bhava plus ti, or whether you have bhavishya plus ti, from this point on, the rules will be the same. The rules that we apply for bhava plus ti, or as the case may be, bhava, with ti or tas or ji, whatever the case might be, that angam bhava and the angam bhavishya, because you're going to become bhavishya later on, that is going to generate the same rules from this step onwards. That's why I told you in the beginning itself that this laka is very easy to spot. Just look at the sya over there if it's there, and then the remaining prakriya is the same. So nothing new. We'll go through it today because, as I said, a lot of new people, so we'll go through the same rules. And so let's take the first form. When you have bhavishya plus ti, there's nothing, so syati. So that one we'll keep it like that. We'll get the form syati. There is no change. Okay, the next one, what will happen is that when you have bhavishya plus tas, there also nothing, sasajusho ruho karavasana visarjaniyaha, that's become bhavishya taha. Now let's keep it as sya only, because that sya will only become shya when you have the idagama there or something there, which is the in pratyahara or the kavarga. Then only the sya becomes shya. That we'll see that rule later on. So let's keep it as sya for the time being. So then become syataha. So the next form, which is going to be the bhavishya plus the ji. Now here we have two rules. Jhuvantaha. Jhuvantaha is what? So let me put that here. When you have bhavishya plus ji, tip plus ji is the next one. So we get jhuvantaha. I think it's 713. So as a default, the ja becomes ant, and then the ikar already is there, so it becomes bhavishya anti. So 713. As I told you many times, in the beginning, in 7.1, Panini talks about all these pratyaya adeshaha. When these pratyayas change, what happens to them? That are the beginning of 7.1. There's a section for that. And there's jhuvantaha is a sutram, so we get that's a default. So that becomes, and here nothing overrules the default, so we get the sya plus anti. When we have sya plus anti, of course we may have had the akasamani dirghaha. The akasamani dirghaha is a very general rule, doesn't require any more conditions. As long as you have ak followed by ak in samhitayam, you're going to get the samana dirgha as the ekadesha pura parayoho. It didn't say the pratyaya has to be some savadhatakam, or it doesn't have to be pratyaya also. Any a plus a in samhitayam. Now within a padam, samhita is nityam. So pade nityam samhita. So the speaker cannot say bhavishya anti. No, he has to say bhavishyanti. There is no choice. So there is samhita is nityam. So clearly akasami dirgha wants to come. But there is an apavada for that, which says that ato gune. Ato gune. So let's look at these two rules. Let's go to the Ashtadhyayi. Let's see where they come, And this one is a bit of a controversy, which let's not go into too much detail. But the question is coming now, is why should ato gune overrule akasamani dirgha? Let's look at the numbers what you're looking at. So the akasamani dirgha is 61101. It's akasamani dirgha. So it did not, it's a very general rule. As I said to you, it is saying ak plus ak samvitayam, make the savana dirgha. So a, e, u, rul, ru, you can make this, and followed by the same ak, you make savana dirgha. Now, ato guna is coming prior to that. And that one is, I think, 6197 is saying that if you have the short a followed by a letter which is guna letter. Guna means what? Adeng gunaha. So what you have is short a followed by either the a or the a or the o, adeng gunaha. So let me put that on the document. So if you have 6197 is telling us that 6197 is telling us that when you have, again, samvitayam, that is still the common condition. When you have a plus either the a or the A or the O. The A or the O. And then one more condition is there. If you look at 6197, is apadantat. That short should not be a padanta akara. So it should be apadanta akara. So I should put that. It should not be padanta. Otherwise, we would never be able to use the akasami dirgha for a plus a, right? So it should be non-padanta. So apadanta a. We'll put that in brackets. Apadanta akara. So non-padanta. And right now we are within the pada because suptingantam padam is the general rule. So we don't have the padanta right now. So therefore we're going to have the apadanta akara. When we have plus this is when we have this equation, then apadanta. Okay. Then pura parayoho, the ekadesha is the pararupam ekadeshasya, because there also you can see anuvritti is coming down of the param is going to come here. So if you look at because the engi pararupam from 6194 anuvritti of param comes down, pararupam. So the 6197 says if you have apadanta akara followed by either the A or the the A or O, then there is the ekadesha between those two of them, and then the pararupam is the ekadesha. So then we'll end up with having only between these two. Put the equation like that, we will only get this second letter as the ekadesha. So these two rules are coming for application now. One of them wants to do the akasami dirgha, wants to put the long a in place of the a plus a. The second one is saying in place of a plus a, leave only that pararupam as ekadesha, leave it as a. So these two are coming now. Now when we have vipratishedaha, we have to follow 4 steps. You should see whether you have an apavada or not. Of course you know what the answer is, but still, in terms of doing the computer routine, we have to understand why the answer comes out to be, the bhavishyanti and not bhavishyanti. So why should the atogune overrule the akasami dirgha in the place of apadanta a plus a? Now first, how about an apavada? Is it an apavada of the other? No. Because these have, they are intersecting domains. It is not like one domain is contained inside the other. Why not? Because the atogune applies when you have a plus a also. In those situations when you have a plus a or a plus o, you don't have an application of the akasami dirgha. Similarly, when you have e plus e or u plus u, we only have akasami dirgha. You don't have this one, atogune. So they don't have contained domains. So it's not like one is inside the other. That's step number 1, is check for apavadas. Apavada always has to be given a chance over the utsarga, will never apply. And the second step is that, do we have antarangam bahirangam? Means is one operation internal and one external? These are kind of difficult concepts, but generally speaking, if you have an internal operation, that will take precedence over an external operation. For example, when you have an agama coming and joining a pratyaya, between the agama and the pratyaya itself is internal operation. That's internal to that block. Between the blocks, between pratyayas, between pratyaya and angam, that is an external operation. So that has to wait till you do the antarangam. But is that the case over here? No, because both are internal, so to speak. They're both acting between the akara of sya and the akara of anti. It's not like one is external and one is internal. It's the same operation between these two blocks. So that cannot help us. So the antarangam bahirangam. Then the third rule is what's called nitya nitya, which means that if one rule applies, the other will not apply. But if the other applies, one will still apply. Will that help us here? No. Because once you do akasami dirgha, you got long a, then the other atogune cannot apply. If you do atogune, then only one a is left behind. You cannot do akasami dirgha. So they will mutually exclude the other. So each one applying will exclude the other. So even the nitya nitya rule will not help us to break the tie. So again, what 3 steps? These are very important steps. They're going to come all the time, all the time, all the time, all the time. And this is only in the Sapa Saptadhyayi, only in the first 7.1 chapters. When you go to Tripadi, You have to go step by step by step. Each rule gets only one chance, yes or no, yes or no, yes or no. There's no question of vipratishedaha. You cannot have a conflict in the tripadi because the first rule gets the first chance. Then comes the next rule. They don't all come together for application. In the tripadi, they don't all come together for application. Only in the sapada saptadhyayi, they all come together. The routine runs up to there and spits out the ones which are coming for application. Between them, you have to break the tie. Okay, so it's only in the first 7 or 1 chapter that we have to do all of this. The 3 steps we did is check for apavadaha, which is kind of obvious. The second was bahiranga mantarangam. The third one was the nitya nitya, which also helps in many situations. So if rule A and B are coming, when A applies, B cannot apply. If that's the case, and when B applies, A can still apply. In that case, the A is nityam. So nityam rule, that is the balavan. That will prevail. That will prevail. But we don't have that here either, because here when we apply one, the other doesn't apply. So now finally we are left to the situation where we have to look at the which is the later rule in the Ashtadhyayi. Now, as it unfortunately for us is that the Akasama Dirgha is a later rule in Ashtadhyayi. 6197 Ato Gune, which is what we want to get the correct form. But the next rule, the other one is 61101. So that will give us the wrong answer. So after applying all our logic and all our tiebreakers, we are now left with a situation of getting the wrong answer. By Akasama Dirgha gives us the wrong answer. So now what do we do? What do we do now? Okay, this is my 2 cents on this, okay, is that, see, Panini says Ato Gune. Ato Gune. Now, Gune means what? It means Adeng Gunaha. The A, and O, Adeng Gunaha. Now, if Panini did not want the A plus A situation to come under the domain of this rule, he could have easily said Ata Engi. Ata Engi could have been said. Instead, he's saying Ato Gune. Because anuvritti of this is not going anywhere. We have to be, see, now we are in dangerous territory now. When you start making this kind of logic, you have to be extremely careful. Why is that? Because there are many interactions going on in the Ashtadhyayi. They can have very subtle implications, which we may not know. So now we are coming to the point where we have to be very, very careful of what we are doing, because we are saying on the basis of some logic, we are saying that this rule should overrule this rule. But if you look at this anuvritti of gune, does not go down anywhere. So easily Panini could have said Ata Engi. If you want to exclude the A from this rule, if he did not want A plus A to come under its domain, he could have easily said Ata Engi. Instead he's saying Ato Gune. So clearly Panini wants that A plus A situation to come under the domain of this Ato Gune. But this is kind of my own reasoning, because otherwise there are some other complicated rules which people might invoke. So this is one sutra where it's a little bit difficult to very easily say black and white. Why should Ato Gune overrule Akasama Dirgha? It's not that easy. We went through all our steps and we could not get the resolution. So now we are resorting to something else, which is not very good in the sense that we have to be very careful. But I think this logic will actually Kashika says. Otherwise, we can do one more thing to keep our life simple for us. We can just take the Vyakhyanam, just see what the scholars have to say, And this year the Kashika clearly says Akaha Samani Dirghasya Apavadaha. So they have told us already. So they have figured out by their own means whatever they have done in the background. All the PhDs getting together.
Satishji,
Yes.
Padamanjari agrees with exactly what you're saying.
It does agree with what I'm saying?
Okay, exactly, word to word.
Okay, good. So then that's at least Padamanjari. Padamanjari is a very good commentary. It comes from Nyasaha. So that's what, I think I may have got it from there. It's not my original thing, okay? Generally, when it's my original thing, I'm very careful because I don't want it to be wrong. So Kalpeji, thank you. So apparently Padamanjari has given the same thing which I was saying. And Kashika also has told us, so we can, if you want to keep your life simple, accept what these scholars are saying for the time being until you do your own research. But since you are looking at like a computer program, you're trying to make it like mathematical for us, you will ask the question someday as to why this Atogune overruled Akasami Dirgha. So go through all these steps, and you can try to accept my reasoning, or you can try to also do your own research if you want to think of something else. But okay, for this class, let's take the Kashika Vachanam, and let me go to the Sutram, so I will also show you what I am, the 6197. And the fact that Kashika is saying that, okay, without too much explanation, means he knows there's a bit of a problem here. So he has to make a statement like that, without kind of supporting it that well. So let's go to 6197 itself, he will say. And okay, so let's make this as one of the rules for us. Is when all our rules, regular rules fail, then go to the Vyakhyanam. See, normally either the Katyayana will have a Vartikam for that. He said that, this rule overrules this rule by the Purva Vipradishedha. Because normally you should have taken the Para Rupam, the Para Karyam should overrule. Because Pani says Vipradishede Param Karyam. But Katyayana will come in those places where Para Karyam should not work, but the Purva Karyam should work. Then he will put the Vartikam on that. He's saying that this rule will overrule the later rule, what is called Vipradishedha, which is Purva Vipradishedha. But in this case, Kashika gives it for us. I spent a lot of time on this, but it's an important concept as we go along. We will look at that. So the numbers are off over here, but just want to show you what I'm looking at is the Kashika says is that Akastamani Dirgha, a lot of typos here, so please watch the typos. But Akastamani Savarne Dirghasya Apavadaha. Okay, so that is, keep this in mind, and just make a note of it. So I'll just put a statement here is that overrules the 61101, which is the Akastamani Dirgha, in the case of the apadanta a plus o. In that case only there's a conflict. Only the apadanta a plus o only we have a conflict. So apadanta a plus o. Okay, and that's I just put based on either logic or commentary. That's what I just put based on the Vyakhyanam.
Satiji,
Yes.
This Apadanta, does it make 6197 more specific than 61101?
See, to make specific means it has to be an apavada. Apavada means it has to be completely contained domain. It has to have it should not be only intersecting domain. It should be some completely contained. So, because Akasami Dirgha only applies for A plus A, E plus E, U plus U, Ru plus Ru, and Ru plus Ru, while the Atogone is applying for A plus A also. So basically Apavada means that if you don't give it a chance, it should never apply. That is Apavada. If you don't give the rule a chance in that situation, the rule becomes useless. Now we cannot say that, because then in cases of A plus A it has application. So what they call Charitartha. Charitartha means it has to have application somewhere. As long as that is the case, it's not Apavada then anymore. See, Apadanta makes it more specific, but it has other applications elsewhere also. That will not point to help us. So okay, but so that's what we have. So then we have Sya plus Anti ends up becoming Syanti only. Does not become Syanti. So that's the form that we have. This is the third person plural, becomes Syanti. Okay. Now the next one we have what is the Sya plus Si, because Sip Thastha. So then there's nothing special there, just Sya Si, and even the next two places also there's nothing special, no new rules. So you just join that, becomes Sya Si, and then comes the Sip Thastha. So Sya Tha, and then the Syatha, also nothing special. And then we come to the first person, Uttama Purushaha, and then we get the sya plus mip, anubandha lope mi. Now here comes one more rule. We say, same rule that we have in the bhavami, bhavavaha, bhavavaha, which is the ato dirgho yahi. Ato dirgho yahi. So what this is 7.3, I think 7.3 or 100-ish. So what that rule is saying is that if you have the short ending angam, which we do, and then if it follows by the pratyaya, which is yanyadi pratyaya, sarvadhatuka. In that case, the a becomes dirgha. Ato dirgho yahi. So 7.3 should be 101. Ato dirgho yahi. Now what is yahi? From hayavarat, right, up to javai. So from hayavarat up to javai, so that includes all the nasals. The yam, nam, it comes inside the yai pratyahara. So now when the mip is following, the makara is in the yai pratyahara. It is sarvadhatukam because of tingshis sarvadhatukam. So we do have a short ending anga, whether it might be bhava or might be bhavishya. It is a short ending angam. And then we have the pratyaya, which is yanyadi pratyaya, which is also sarvadhatuka pratyaya. So then the at becomes dirgha. So 73101 means always check all the conditions. Always check all the conditions. So apply 73101. It's a good habit. Apply 73101 to get to make the dirgha of that akara and get this syami. Ato dirgho. Again, one more time. You need the adanta angam. We are the angasya adhikara. Angasya adhikara goes from 6-4, so 6-4, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4. So ataha becomes adanta angasya. When anga ending is short, becomes dirgha. And when pratyaya following is yanyadi, sarvadhatuka pratyaya. So same rule in the next two situations. You're going to get the syavaha, syamaha. So that's the same rule, because even the vakar with hayava rat, so the vakara also is in the same pratyahara yai and the syamaha. So okay, so that completes for the prasnapadam. In the atmanepadam, we again won't go through all the steps. So let's see, you just start from let's say you have the dhatu lab become lapsya. It's anit dhatu. You can only going to get the kharicha, become lapsya. And then we're going to have the same, we have these pratyayas. Maybe what I'll do is now I'll put these pratyayas to begin with, which is the ta atam ja. So ta atam ja. And then you have the thas atam dhvam. Thas atam dhvam. And then you have the id, vahi, mahing. So that is what comes in the atmanepadam. Id, vahi, and then mahing. I'm sorry, mahing. Okay. So now, one thing I mentioned to you is that the moment you have in atmanepadam, lakara with ta as an it, then immediately apply these two rules, which is the tita atmanepadanam tere and thasa se. These two rules should immediately be applied. The moment you have a lakara which has ta as an it, the mudhanya takara as an it, and you are in atmanepadam, then always apply these two rules. They're nitya karyani. Nothing will stop them. Nothing will really stop them, unless there might be an apavada somewhere, but unless there's an apavada somewhere else, these two should always be your first stop. When you're in atmanepadam, with lakara has ta as an it, then always check the tita atmanepadanam tere and the thasa se. What do these rules say? These rules are coming in the lasya adhikara. I think what they're saying is that we are in 3, 4, 79, 18. If I look at the placement of the rules also, he says lasya panini says, then tiptasji is 3, 4, 78. Immediately after that, from 3, 4, 79, 3, 4, 80. So what these sutras say is that if the titaha, so if you have the ta as an it in the lakara, then in place of that lakara, whatever this ta atam ja which came, atmane padanam, te he a. is the T bhagaha becomes A. Now what is T bhaga? We already did before, which is achontyadi T. Achontyadi T. You start from the last vowel in the term and go to the end of the term. So very quickly, if you look at these pratyas, the T bhaga in ta is the akaraha. In atam, the T bhaga is the am. In the ja, it is only the over here. In the thas, it is as. Atam, the T bhaga is am. In the dhvam, it is it is e. In the vahi, I got a typo. It is the ikaraha. And in the mahi, it is also the ikaraha. So this is going to become, all of these T bhagas are going to become the ekara adesha syat. So now when you put all of these together and we just apply, and the next sutram is saying thasas se. The 348 says thasas se. So thas becomes se. The sarvadesha because of the anekalshi sarvasya thasas se. So we can make thas into se, and the remaining fellows we can make the T bhaga into A. So the moment if you have the ters and it in the lakaraha, then immediately change these 9 to make it into the, okay, let me put these now. So you get te, you got the te, and then you got the ate, and normally what happens is that you get juantaha. So let's apply that also, we become ante. So applying which we did before, ante. Then we got the thasas se, so becomes se, and then becomes ate, and then becomes dve. All I'm doing is applying 3479 and 3480. That's all I'm doing. It becomes dve. And then it becomes A, because E becomes A, and then vahe mahe. Vahe mahe. Vahe mahe. So this what we did was, we will put it over here, is that apply 3479 and 80. 479, 80. Because the we are Atmane Padam, and the Rit had the has stirs in it. Let me get this, type this right. Has the marker tau. Okay. So now we are almost getting there. There are only, I think, 1 or 2 more rules that we need, and then we'll be all set. Okay. All right. So now let's start with these. And when we have the sya plus te, nothing special, so it becomes syate. When it takes so syate, there's no special rule coming there. So we have syate. But when we have sya plus ate, then one more rule comes in here. Sya plus ate. When we have that, oh, Vasu has a question. I may have a typo. I may have a typo. Vasu's hand is up. Let me check. Yes,
Yeah.
Vasu.
Yeah, after that 3479 and 80, because you have put lat in there.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you. I'm glad Vasu is always looking behind me. Yes, thank you. Dhanyavad, dhanyavad. Yes.
Thank you.
Try to keep the document as clean as we can. So because, as I said to you, I think more people listen to the recording than to the class actually. So that is okay. Let me try to. Okay, again, my mouse is the one with the problem. I'm sorry. Got to get the, okay. So okay. So let me change that. Let me make it into the lit lakara. I was so conscious of putting the the anunasika, I forgot to do this one. So the okay, let me try that again. Okay, no, doesn't want to do it. Try that. Okay, I got it. All right. So now sya plus ate, what happens is that we get the ato nitaha. One rule which we have to look at, ato nitaha. Let's look at that one. That comes in 7.2. On 7.2, I think it is around 80-ish, 81-ish. Ato nitaha. Anuvritti is coming also there of the ataha, because the prior rule I think is ato ye yaha. So in 7.2, after the idagama section, some of these 2-3 rules come in there, and there's the Okay, let's look at 72, 79, 80, 81. The first rule says linga salopanantyasya. Anuvritti of the, let's see, anuvritti is coming down there. Ato yeyaha and ato nitaha. So, an anuvritti of coming sarvadhatu coming from way back from 76. So what happens is that if you have this ataha, so if you have a long a following a short a ending anga. So what we have is we have sya plus ate is what we have. And so that bhavisya or lapsya, that lapsya angam ending in short a. So from 7 to 80, anuvritti of ataha comes. So adanta adangat. Okay, let's see. Vasu has his hand up again. Sorry, Yes, Vasu. Vasu?
Yeah, I didn't see anything.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to put your hand down. Okay, I'm sorry. Thanks. Okay, so Ata Anuvritti is coming down from the from 7 to 80. So we Adantang Angam. This is also Angasya Adhikara. So we need an Angam ending in short A. Following that, we should have a long A in there, which we do have. This is the Sya is ending in short A. Actually, it should be Lapsya really. We made it for short, we put it Sya. Then we have a long A following that. And then one more condition is that long A should be the Nit Pratyaha. Now we already saw in the class before is that Sarvadhatukam apit. You're going to hear this from me 1,000 times. Sarvadhatukam apit. I also heard it 10,000 times so far. You're going to hear it another 1,000 times. Sarvadhatukam apit. So 1, 2, 4. Immediately when Pratyaya which is Sarvadhatukam, check 1, 2, 4. It says that if the Pratyaya ate does not have any pers in it, and it is ting shis sarvadhatukam, because if it was in the ting pratyahara, so it's going to become nitvat. So by 1, 2, 4, this ate is nitvat. So now all our conditions are satisfied, which we do have the pratyaya which is sarvadhatukam. It has a long a in the beginning. And the preceding angam is the short a ending angam. The pratyaya ate also is nit pratyaya. So we need to check all these conditions. When all these conditions are satisfied, then that long a becomes iya. Long e and ya. Long or short e. See what happens in the 7 to 80. Interesting sandhi is there in that. It's an asha sandhi in 7 to 80. So whether you have long e ya or short e ya, it doesn't make any difference. Because let's look at that for a second. After applying all these conditions, so what we have done is that we have taken this 1, 2, 4 sarvadhatukam apit, and along with that we applied this 7 to 81 ato nitaha, and that is going to make that the ate into, we're going to have the sya plus e ya te. That's what you're going to get. Now, as what I was telling you is that because the 7 to 80 anuvritti is coming down, and in 7 to 80 you have an asha sandhi which Panini has done. So when you try to decompose that sandhi, it can either come out as iya or iya. It will not make a difference because you have the anga ending in short a. So by the ad gunaha, whether you make it sya plus iya or sya plus iya, still going to get the eka adesha of the ekaraha. So ad gunaha. So it doesn't matter because in some books you might see iya, in some books you might see iya. It will not make any difference. It becomes the same form. Finally you're going to get the ad gunaha. And between the and the rasva atva dirgha ekara, whatever you have, you're going to get the eka adesha of the guna adesha, which is going to be in this case the a. Now what about the yakara over there? What's happened to that? That is lopo vyorvali. Also interesting rule is that if you have any vakara or yakara followed by a val letter, it takes lopaha. Lopo vyorvali. So if you have, one more time, if you have a vakara or the yakara followed by a val letter. Now what is val? Hayava, Ratlan, all the way up to hal, right? So wal equals hal minus ha is wal. So let's see. Lopo vyor vali. Ha ya va rat. So the hal minus ya. Hal minus ya. I think I said it wrong the first time. So hal minus ya is wal. So lopo vyor vali is, I think, is 6-1, around 60-ish. I think 66 maybe. Lopo vyor vali. Yeah. So lopo vyor vali is if you have the vakara or yakara followed by the letter which is wal, which is any consonant except ya, then you're going to get the lopa of the vakara or yakara. So these are all very powerful rules for you, by the way. Now you can go through your any Sanskritam text and check if you have va or ya followed by a wal letter. You should take lopa. Let me give you an example in the Gita where this rule does not apply because we don't have wal. The yakara, this comes in the 18th adhyaya of the Gita. Nyayam va viparitam va nyayam. In the form nyayam, you do have the ya, and following is a consonant, but it is not a vowel letter because vowel is hal minus ya. Nyayam, oh, here it is, I think it is. Here it is on 18.15 the Gita. Shairavang manobir yat karma prarbate naraha nyayam va viparitam va panchayate tasya hetava. Look at that word nyayam. In nyayam you do have a yakara there, followed by a consonant. But that consonant is not val because it is the yakara, hayavarat. So any other consonant we would have removed that ya from there. If you had any other consonant, that prior ya would have dropped, because lopo vyor vali. But this one is nyayam va. It's also very badly pronounced, by the way. People say nyayam va, should be nyayam. Like when you do the Mangala Charanam, when you do the at the end of any puja, so nyayena margena. So most people say nyayena margena. Should be nyayena margena. So nyaya is a noun, which means justice, and nyayam is a tadita from that, which means that just is an adjective. So the just path means which has justice, which doesn't deviate from justice is nyayam. So that which doesn't deviate from nyaya is nyayam. So nyayam is an adjective, while nyaya is a noun. Anyway, so lopo, check this rule, lopo vyor vali. You have the yakara, but followed by a consonant which is not val. So it doesn't apply. But in our case, what do we have? We do have, so the sutra number is 6166, lopo vyor vali. It's a very general rule. So it's nothing to do with anything about tingantas or nothing like that. It's a completely different domain. So by 6166 now, we're going to drop that ya because we do have the ya followed by the ta. The ta is definitely in the val pratyahara. So we're going to get so it drops the ya, and then we're going to do, of course, the ad gunaha. Ad gunaha 6187 is going to apply, and then we're going to finally get the form, you get siete. You're going to get siete. Again, these are the very same steps that you used when you did the lat lakaraha. What you got, labhate, labhete. That labhete, when we did that, we had the same rules. Again, one more time, what rules did we apply? We applied ato gnitaha. Ato gnitaha. The condition was that if you have the akaradi pratyaha, which is sarvadhataka pratyaha, and it should be a gnit pratyaha, means it should be by sarvadhatakam apit, it became gnitvat. The angam should be ending in short a, which we do have because we have sya. When all this is satisfied, the a becomes iya or iya, doesn't matter. Then you do ad gunaha, lopo vyor vali, and becomes siete. The good news about Tingantam, it works like mathematics. So it generates all these forms beautifully. It's very nice to do this. So it becomes siete. So that is the third person dual. Now, when you have sya plus ante, the third person plural, the same rule. You would have had akasamani dirghaha, tasya apavadaha, vyakhyanat apavadaha is the atogune. So we're going to get the syante. Same steps as you had in the syanti, same steps syanti. Okay. Now what about we already did the rule thasa se. We already made thas into se by 3, 4, 80, thasa se. So nothing special, just join now and make it sya se. Nothing special there. In the next form, the same steps that we did for the syete becomes syete. Because we have sya plus athe, we're going to apply the same rule, which is the ato gnitaha, and go through the same steps and make it syete. Syete. Next one also, we already made the dhvam into dve, because that was a t bhagaha. So we apply the tita atmani padanam tere 3, 4, 79. We made the dhvam into dve, and then there's just join them now, nothing special, so make it into dve. Dve. Okay. Now the next place also, the good thing about doing the Paninian way is that once you know, you don't have to memorize these tables. Like I mentioned to you, it doesn't make sense to memorize the mathematical tables. You should not be memorizing 2 times 4 is 8, 2 times 5 is 10. You should not be memorizing those tables. So if you know how to add and subtract, and then you know the rules, then there's no, you can generate all those tables on your own. There's no point memorizing. People, if you don't know, you shouldn't be memorizing, bhavami, bhavava, bhava, maha, bhavanti, bhavanti, like that. No need to do that, because how many can you memorize? And there'll always be some exceptional forms which you cannot. You'll be completely stuck if you don't know the basic rules. So now what is the next rule? The next form what we have is sya plus a. We already applied 3, 4, 79. The tita atmane padanam tere. We got sya plus a. In this situation, you would have had vriddhi rechi. You would have had vriddhi rechi. Is that a plus a would have given you syai. But remember the rule we already applied, ato gune. Ato gune. Ato gune is a plus a. Puruparayoho ekadeshaha is the pararupam ekadesha syat. So that's how we get CA. Now, let me warn you one more thing is that if you forget both these rules, you will still get the right form. Because if you forget that the tita apne padanam tere and the ato gune and just do the ad gunaha between the sya and the e, you'll get the form CA, but that's the wrong way to do it. If you just take sya plus e and do ad gunaha, you will get the same form CA. But that's not the right way to do it. Because you have to first do the tita apne padanam tere, make the e into a, and then do ato gune and make it into CA. So don't go into temptation of doing the sya plus e is becoming CA. You should make sya plus e, then make sya plus a by 3, 4, 79, and then do the ato gune as an apavadaha for the vriddhi rechi and make it into CA. So I'm just letting, because otherwise, you might just be tempted to do just the ad guna and be done with it. But that's not the way it works. So this becomes CA. Now, why should the ato gune overrule the vriddhi rechi? At least in this case, we are even when we go through all those steps about the apavada and this and that, ato gune is a parakaryam to vriddhi rechi. So even though ato gune really is not in any way, it's not really a subdomain of vriddhi rechi, but it is a parakaryam. So even if we cannot prove that, we don't have to go into any gymnastics to justify the overruling of vriddhi rechi by ato gune. Of course, if you take my logic, then it will be, Panini could easily said ato ati, but he said ato gune. So clearly he wants the a and the o to be in there. Otherwise, ato ati could have easily been said, ato ati. But ato gune has been said. So clearly a and o have to be in there. And they can only be in apavada for vriddhi rechi. But even we don't have to even go there because this is parakaryam anyway. So it is going to overrule the vriddhi rechi. Vriddhi rechi was, yes.
Isn't this clearly an apvada because it's almost a subdomain?
It's almost is a
No, it is a subdomain. It is completely a subdomain.
Because you have a plus a, it has application. Ato gune has application a plus a.
But vriddhi rechi has achi pare. Oh, Echi, Rechi.
Yeah, Echi, Vruddhir Echi. So
Okay,
that's the
okay.
problem.
Okay. Thank you.
Unfortunately, it doesn't work. You have to go to some logic for that. But this is an easy one because even as Kalpeji said, it's almost an apavada because if you break it up into gune as a plus ing, and clearly ati could have been said, but gune has been said. So you have to go one extra step to take it apavada. But we can take as parakaryam also. See, in the case of the akasami dirgha, the huge problem was that the akasami dirgha is parakaryam. So we really have to resort to some logic to just, okay, one more hand is up. Satya has a question. Yes, Satya. Satya, your question.
So can we extend this apavada concept to if there are two rules, and the third rule is a strict subset of the combination of the two other rules? Then,
Yeah, this is dangerous.
because otherwise, if the two general rules keep applying, then the strict subset of both the rules will not ever apply, right?
Yeah. So what we can take the ato gune as an apavada for the combined of the vruddhirechi and akasami dirgha. If we take these two together, and then we have to make ato gune as an apavada for But then someone can argue is that okay, I understand ato gune overrules vruddhirechi. It already has found application now. Then why should it overrule the akasami dirgha? See, that argument can be made. Because akasami dirgha is parakaryam. So now you have to somehow stop that. And the only logic that we can see is that because gune iti vachanat, because gune has been said and not engi has been said, we have to use it. And this is a very dangerous thing. I said this is very dangerous because it doesn't happen many times. It's very one of the few places in Ashtadhyaya you have to take like a combined view, to make this kind of a statement. So yeah, I mean this doesn't happen many times. Very, very rare situation. So we should not be doing this. I think at this point, as I said to you, you have to go to the Vyakhyanam and accept what they have to say. That also is slightly better. But okay, so yeah. I mean Satya's point is good, but we'll be cautious when you try to do this kind of things. But anyway, for us right now, it is clearly a parakaram to vruddhirechi. So we are fine. We get the forms here. So next two steps also the same. We get sya plus swahe. We do the ato dirghojai, make it syavahe and syamahe. Ato dirghojai. We already did the tere, kitapna padam tere, and then the ato dirghojai, syavahe, syamahe. So what we'll do from now on is that we will now, these pratyas are ready for us. So we'll only derive the angam and then add these pratyas. So we will not, from now on for this lesson, we will not go into these pratyas again. So we already derived the form, that the syati, syataha, syanti, syasi, syataha, syatha, then syami, syavaha, syamaha, then syate, syete, syante, syase, syethe, syadve, sye, syavahe, syamahe. We already derived all of that, so now we don't have to, maybe we'll put the number here again. I think it's 73101. Ato dirgho jai is 73101, I believe. So now that's why I wanted to go through these steps. It is the same steps that we had in lat lakara also. So if you miss lat lakara, you can apply the same steps over there and derive the same form. So all we'll do now is derive the angam only. It'll go pretty fast. So let's go back to the So ato dirgho jai was 73101. That's correct. Let's go back to the textbook and see which one he's saying here. So let's come back to the prior page now. And he's talking about these idagama rules. The two idagama rules is the 7 to all dhatus ending in r and insert e before terminations. Now when you look at the karika for the ajanta dhatus, you have only udrudantaihi. Only long u and long ru endings were declared as to be set dhatavaha. This is short ru. So by 7 to 10, this should not be taken allowing idagamaha. So when you have rassarukaranta dhatavaha, they should be anitaha by the karika. So we need a special rule now to make them to allow an idagamaha for the special pratyaya. And that's 7 to 70. So these are now the detailed rules. So our first stop is 7 to 35. Adhadhatukasya idvaladehe 7 to 10, which says that ekash upadeshan is anudattat in nishedha. And then comes 7 to 70, rid hanoh sye. Within this sutram, we have a sandhi rule applied here, which is Rud Hanoho, became Rud Dhanoho Se. That Hakara became Dhakaraha. So the sutram is Jayoho Anyatarasyam. Jayoho Anyatarasyam. Because in the rule 7 to 70, that Ha has become Dha, and that is by the Jayoho Anyatarasyam. So that sutram says if you have any Jai Pratyahara, what is Jai? From Jabai up to Kapai. So it means the column 1, 2, 3, 4 in the 5 by 5 matrix. The Jai is column 1, 2, 3, 4. When that precedes and you have the Hakara following that, it becomes Anyatarasyam. It becomes the Purva Savarnaha. Now the Hakara is a Mrudu Varnaha. It is Mahapranaha. So it will always go to the number 4 column. What do we have in our example? We have the Rid Hanoho. So the Rid, that was Dakara, was the preceding member. It is a Jai Pratyahara. And then you have the Hakara following, so it will become the Dakara. It will go and match the closest match in the Tavarga. It's going to take the number 4 Dakara. Because it is a Mruduvarna, it's a Mahaprana. So you're going to get the Ruddhanoho Sye. So Ruddhanoho Sye means that only when the Pratyaya Sya follows, in that case, specifically for this Pratyaya, any dhatu ending in Rit means that Taparastat Kalasya, so means short Ru endings, and the dhatu Han, these two, they will become said dhatus. When for the Pratyaya Sya, they will allow the Idagamaha. In Bhagavad Gita, 2 examples I already gave you last time, but one example is 16th Adhyayaha. Actually, let me take 18th Adhyayaha. Karishyasya Avashopitata. Karishyasi Avashopitata. I think around 60-ish, because it comes right before the sutram that Ishvara Sarvabhutanam Hridesha Runatishthati Brahmayan Sarvabhutani Yantra Rudhani Mayaya Tameva Sharanam Gaccha. Here it is. And in number 60, you have the form Karishyasi. Now the dhatu kru is anit dhatu, but you get the form Karishyasi because of Ruddhanosye. So 7 to 7. If you know Bhagavad Gita well, if you apply all the grammar rules, you will have like very strong base. So Karishyasi, again, if you think in your mind, this is anit dhatu. It's taken, Idagama has been taken for some reason. It's okay. Now you know the whole section in 7.2. Just go and see if you can find something there. From the 7 to 35 to 7 to 65, there must be some rule which will tell us, that this one is going to take the Idagama. It's 75. So 7 to 35 to 75. That's a section that you have to use. Okay. So this is one. In 16th Adhyaya, the dhatu Han comes. Hanishye Chaparanapi. Ishvara Maham Bhogi Siddham Balavan Sukhi. So in chapter 16, the form Hanishye Chaparanapi comes. The people of the Asuri Buddhi, they think that I will kill others also. Hanishye Chaparanapi. Let's see. Aso Mayata Shatruhu. Hanishye Chaparanapi. So, number 14. 16 chapter number 14. Aso Maya Hata Shatru Hanishye Chaparanapi. Hanishye. The dhatu Han is anit dhatu. Then how it became Hanishye? That's because it's rule Ruddhanosye. The dhatu. Of course, this is Atmanepad is following Arsha Pragaha. The dhatu Han normally is Parasamepada form. But anyway, that doesn't matter to us right now. The bottom line is that the dhatu Han is anit dhatu. It took an idagama over here. It allowed idagama. I shouldn't say took. That's the wrong statement. It allowed the idagama. Idagama comes only to the pratyaya only. Finally, the seer takes the idagama. The pratyaya takes, the dhatu allows it. But it allowed it because of this 7 to 70 specifically says any short ru ending dhatus and the dhatu seer, they allow the idagama for the seer pratyaya only. So let's take a quick example. Nothing, now we already have all the endings. So if you take the dhatu kru, we can now skip a lot of steps because we already did all the details. So if you just take the same example which I just showed in the Gita, chapter 18, we can take the kru plus the by this rule, the 7 to 70, we got the idagama becoming a sya, and then we got the SIP. If you want to take the Gita example, karishyasi. And here now by the 7380, so we applied 7270 to, because of Ridhano Hasye. When you look at any new sutram, repeat it 10-15 times, it'll stick. It has a special power to impart the knowledge to you. It does have that. If you repeat it many times, it'll stick in your head. It'll have a special effect. Rather than reading from English books and all that, don't do that. Read the sutrams many times. It'll give you that extra effect. So 7270, and then we applied this 7384. Sarvadhatuka ardhadhatuka yoho. Kru became kar because of uran raparaha. I think all of you know by now, and become karisya. So at that point we have to now look. So now let's go to Tripadi and finish the last operation, which is the change, the murdhanya adesha. The murdhanya adesha. So we did the Urandraparaha, and we got this much so far. So finally we have to do the Adesha Pratyayoho. Adesha Pratyayoho. 8369, I think the sutram. You're going to see many times. 83, I think I forget, 59 or 69, it's going to be 59. So you're going to see this rule many times. Because any time you have a sakara, it has to be either an adesha or pratyaya avayava. It should be either, so say 8359, I'm sorry, 8359. It has to be either a part of a pratyaya avayava, or it has to be a adesha. In this case we have the pratyaya sya. The sya, the sakara clearly is a pratyaya avayava. It's a part of the pratyaya sya. And then what else? You should have either the in pratyahara letter preceding that or the ka varga. So immediately preceding should be the in pratyahara or the ka varga. Now in means from ayun, so iyun, rilrak, all the way up to hayavarat lan. Right now we have the ikara in karisya. So that's going to change the talavya sakara, the murdhanya shakara adesha. This anuvritti of the apadantasya murdhanya goes from 8355. It goes to, I think, the end of 8.3. It goes the adhikar, no, may not be end of 8. I'll give you the numbers. But anyway, from 8355 starts should be apadantasya murdhanya. Should be not padanta also. So this sakara should not be padanta. Apadantasya murdhanya. So that goes from the 8355. It goes all the way up to, I think, 83117. I think that might be the end of the 8.3. So that is so remember this rule. It's going to come for application many, like in the world like Rameshu, the same rule comes. So it goes from 8355 to end of 8.3. Apadantasya murdhanya. Within that we have Adesha Pratyayoho. So for example, a word like Musalam. A word like Musalam. Now the sa is preceded by the u, that is in pratyahara, within in pratyahara. It is not padanta sakara, but it is neither an adesha nor pratyaya avayava. So not every sakara will become murdhanya if preceded by the in or ka varga. It has to be either a pratyaya avayava or it has to be a adesha. Word like dhusara. Dhusara means I think like hazy or grey, I think. So dhusara or smoky. So dhusara, there also it will not become dhushara. Because even though the in is preceding, everything else is satisfied. It does not, that sakara is not due to the one of these, either an adesha or pratyavayava. But in our case, we do have sya. The sakara is clearly a pratyavayava. We do have the in letter preceding that, become karishyasi. So 8359, we then going to make it into ka. So from now on, we'll just mention 8359. You know the rule by now, so we can become karishyasi. Karishyasi. Okay. Karishyasi. Same thing in the form hanishya, nothing really different. Only thing is that we have the dhatu han. It should not be allowing idagamaha. But because of 7270, we're going to get the isya, hanishya, and it should have been, hanishye, but it became should be hanishyami. It became the Hanishin in Gita because that is probably Arshaprayoga Atmanepadam. Well, regardless, whether you use Atmanipadam, Parasmapadam, the point is that just make it a CA for now. So the idagama was allowed by 7270. So the same situation. Anishye chaparanapi. So apply the 7270 and then the 8359. Okay. Now in the book, the next thing he mentions is that the dhatu gam. So dhatu gam is 7 to 58, a slightly bigger domain, and the 7 to 58 is gamerit parasnipadeshu. So that's the sutram. 7 to 58 is the sutram. Again, it has to be in the section of 7 to 35 to 75. See, if you don't know all these numbers, doesn't matter. Just come and just scan this section. There should be some rule over there. It says gamerit parasnipadeshu. So this is also dhatu gam, specifically dhatu gam. It has to be, the pratyaya should be a parasnipadam only. See, normally dhatu gam is parasnipadam. But once in a while, because of some upasarga coming in there, it might then change to getting a atmanipadam pratyaya. In that case, then you cannot apply this rule. So only is parasnipadam only. So gamer dhatoho, and the anuvritti of coming say is coming down now. So this anuvritti of sakaradi pratyaya has to be there. Saya sichi. So it has to be sakaradehe adhadhatukasya parasnipadeshu idagamo bhavati. If you look at the vritti of that, you see that the dhatu gam is followed by pratyaya, which is parasnipadam. It should be sakaradi, because again, coming to Bhagavad Gita, you see the form tada gantasi nirvedam. I think I already told you last time, right? Tada gantasi nirvedam shotavyasya shutasya cha. You have the form gantasi. The gantasi is parasnipadam form, and the dhatu gam is there. But then how come no idagama over there? Because because anuvritti of something is missing that. So this will be about second chapter, around 55ish maybe. Tada gantasi nirvedam shotavyasya shutasya cha. So it's number 52. So if we had the form gantasi in Gita, that is the lut lakara form. The dhatu gam is there. The pratyaya parasnipadam also is there. Everything is there. But then it doesn't start with the sakara. So the pratyaya tas is there. So we could not use the this sutram. So but when you have the siya pratyaya, it's a sakaradi pratyaya, then it will become gamishyati, gamishyataha, etc., etc. Otherwise, the rest of it is the same, nothing special. Just put the idagama by 7 to 58. Again, it should be parasnipadam, should be sakaradi, to become gamishya. Then you use the 8359 to make it into the murdhanya sakaradesha. I just put the numbers here, 7 to 58, and the so when we have the gam, dhatu gam is anid dhatu, because you have in the makaranteshu, in the manteshu, you have this yamanama gamarama chatvaraha. You have 4 dhatus in manteshu, which is anid dhatus, yamanama gamarama. So gam is anid dhatu. Of course, that's why it needs sutram. That's why sutram is put over there, because normally it would not allow this idagama to come. So kamishya t. So 7 to 58, and then of course you bring in the moment 7 to 58 comes, you're going to get the 8359 adesha pratyayo. So gamishyati, gamishyataha, gamisyanti, gamishyasi, gamishyatha, gamishyatha, gamishyami, gamishyavaha, gamishyamaha. So those are the forms. Now the next page, we already did the top part of it, which he derives all these endings. Now the one that he's talking about next is that he says before these terminations, the final vowel and the short medial take guna. Now there's nothing special about this, because we already saw the 7384, 7386. We've been using it all the time. The good thing, if you do it the Paninian way, you have to repeat this all the time. Whether pratyaya sarvadhatukam or ardhadhatukam, the ajantasya angasya gunasyat, and also the lagupadasya cha. So because of the Sarvadhatuka Ardhatuka Yoho and Puganda Lagupatasya Cha. So 7, 3, 84, 86. They have a much bigger domain, not specifically for Sya at all. Any pratyaya, which is Sarvadhatukam, Ardhatukam, they do that. So 10th conjugation, let's look at this one for a second. 10th conjugation is taking the dhatu gan. The gan is a churadi dhatu. Churadi means that they will take the swarthe nich. Swarthe nich. Swarthe means in their own meaning, without changing the meaning. So artha parivartanam vina. Without changing the meaning, they will take the nich pratyaya. And that nich is going to create a new dhatu, which is going to become also get a dhatu status by sanadyanta dhatavaha. So the satya, papasha, etc. These are actually in this 3125 is churadibhyo nich. So 3125. We take the dhatu gan. Actually, dhatu is gana. Dhatu part of dhatu is gana. Dhatu gana. So we let's talk about that for a second. We need a special of some special concepts here. So when you do gana, you have to first add the nich pratyaya by the 3125 churadibhyo nich. Churadibhyo nich. So I put 3125. It's a nitya karyam. Nothing can stop that. You cannot use the churadi dhatus until you add the nich and create a new dhatu from that. So by 3132, you do get a dhatu sanya because sanadyanta dhatavaha. Sanadyanta. So from 315 to 3131, all these new forms which are created, they get dhatu sanya by the sanadyanta dhatavaha. Sanadi means from 315 to 3131. Unless you have dhatu sanya, you cannot bring any lakara or any krut pratyaya because you require dhatoho. Now let's look at this in the nish pratyaya, of course, halantyam. Then you get, I'm sorry, I made a mistake here. It is not the anunasika, it is only the niche because we need the e stays behind because only chutu and halantyam. Chutu halantyam. So the na is an id by chutu, pratyayadi, chavarga, tavarga is syat. And then the next one is the halantyam. So we have gana plus e. Gana plus e. Now notice I put the dhatu as gana and not as gan. That has an important implication for us, is that the dhatu is actually gana. Now in the churadi gana, from this dhatu gan, from dhatu katha, from katha up to the end of the gana, up to end there are I think about 40 dhatus which are going to be adanta dhatavaha. Adanta dhatavaha. Adanta means that ending is not an it or ucharanatham. It is a part of the dhatu. That ending of gana is not for ucharanatham or it is not for anitsanya. It is a dhatu avayava. It is a part of the dhatu itself. So again in the churadi gana, the last about 40 or so dhatus, starting from katha, from kathayati, from there, comes in Bhagavad Gita, right? Kathayantaschama nityam. So it comes in Bhagavad Gita chapter number 10. Kathayanti comes in Bhagavad Gita chapter number 10. So that from that katha to up to the agana samaptehe, up to the end of the gana, these are all going to be the adanta dhatavaha. In fact, let me see if I can quickly open it up for you. Dhatu Patha, I think was here somewhere. Dhatu Patha, here it is. Let me try that. See if this is working. Okay, if I go to the 10th Gana, so this is now will be towards the very end. Because this is the last Gana. And there, I'll see the, 10th Gana from the Dhatu Katha. See if I can find it somewhere. What's the number of Katha? It's unfortunately, it's a long Gana. So, might be, I think it's, in fact, what I can do is that, here it is, Gana Sankhyane. Okay, Katha is right here. So 10th Gana number 389 is Katha. From this Dhatu Katha up to the end of this one is going to become the, you're going to have all the Adanta Dhatavaha. So they're all going to be the ending is short up. Now what does that do for us? What does that do? First of all, you can argue that I want to do the ad gunaha, because gana plus e I want to make it gane, ad gunaha. But then there comes there is another rule which says the ato lopaha ardha dhatuke. The pratyaya nich is because of the thing is sarvadhatukam, ardha dhatukam sheshaha. The nich pratyaya is ardha dhatuka pratyaya. It's neither thing nor the talavya sure than it. The nich is a pratyaya ardha dhatukam. So now we got, and because of the ato lopaha, these are all very important rules. I mentioned many rules in this class. I'm trying to go a little bit slow, not too slow, not too fast. If I go too slow, then it's unfair to the old people. If I go too fast, it's not fair to the new people. So, but all these are very important rules which I'm mentioning. So these are going to apply many, many times. So ato, today we saw ato gune we saw. This is ato lopaha. See, this is completely different rule. Ato lopaha ardha dhatuke. So in 6.4.46, Panini starts the adhikara ardha dhatuke. And within that, 6.4.48 says ato lopaha. Ato lopaha ardha dhatuke. So as long as the pratyaya following is ardha dhatuka pratyaya, which we do have, because the pratyaya nich is ardha dhatukam sheshaha. And if you have the adantam angam, the gana is ending in short a, then that a takes lopaha. Ato lopaha ardha dhatuke. Now why did this overrule? Why did this overrule the ad gunaha? This is parakaryam anyway. So that's probably right there we have a good reason. Because this is not subdomain of the other. It's not an apavadaha. Because these are different applications. That has different applications. So they are not contained within one and the other. So and that's the more general rule. This anyway is parakaryam. There's one more paribhasha which says that varnad angam balavat. So when you have the varna karyam, so when you look at the ad gunaha, it doesn't come in the angasya adhikara. It depends only on the varna. You should have the avarna followed by the achipare, which has some upavadas of course. Then you get the guna adesha. So it doesn't require anything about any angamunita. But this ato lopaha requires the pratyaya form which is ardha dhatuka pratyaya, means you have an angam which is preceding, it's in the angasya adhikara. So normally, even if you had this conflict, you cannot resolve. Varnad angam balavat. So from the varna karyam, if you have an anga karyam, and then there is a tulya bala virodha. There is equal competition between these two. You cannot resolve the dispute. Then take the anga karyam. But anyway, in our case of parakaryam is there, so we don't have to worry about it. So ato lopaha 6.4.48 applies. So then what's the big deal? Then why did we bring the remove the What's the big deal? Because doesn't seem to make any sense. Because we made a big deal about making the gana adanta dhatu, and then after all of that, we brought in the 6.1.48 ato lopaha, and then we made it into gan. But there is a big deal. Because I'll tell you why. Because now the reason why all this was done was to stop the sutram, the ato padhaya. We have a lot of today ato, right? We had ato gune, we had ato lopaha, and now we have ato upadhaya. See how these similar sounding rules, they have completely different domains, different operations. You have to be careful not to get confused between all of these, So ato gune was a sandhi rule. It's a varna karyam. Ato lopaha, when it's anga karyam, when you have pratyaya, it's ardha dhatuke. And now the ato padhaya also is an anga karyam. It is the vriddhi radesha. So ato padhaya is 72116. What it says is that if you have an upadha which is upadha means the penultimate letter. So if that is a short and the pratyaya following has this cha varga panchama or ta varga panchama as an it, then you do vriddhir adesha, not ekadesha, vriddhir adesha. So in place of you would have made long a. So long a would have been here. So it become gana. Now we don't want that. We do not want this 72116. Because the form is ganayati, not ganayati. So then we need to stop this ato upadhaya by something. So what can stop that now? Because now this 72116 wants to come for application because its conditions seem to be satisfied. We do have a penultimate a in the Angam. We do have a pratyaya which has this mudhanya nakara as an it. So the 72116 says I want to apply now, and I want to make that vriddhi of that make it garn. So comes for application. So now okay. So now we need this one rule which says that the achaf parasan pura vidhau. So let's look at that rule. And now you understand why that gana was made into a adanta dhatu, why we brought the atolopaha, and how can we stop the 72116. How can we stop 72116? But it looks like it is satisfied. Everything is satisfied. It should apply. But then comes this rule which says achaf parasmin pura vidhau. That is in the 1.1, 1 around 50ish it comes. 1 and that rule says that the achaf parasan pura vidhau. So what it says is that if you have done any ajja adesha, the lopas is an adesha. It's an adesha of a 0. So in place of that ending of gana, we applied ato lopaha. We put a 0 in place of that a. That's an ajja adesha. Now parasmin. So when it comes to something which is the right hand side, which is para, so that nich pratyaya is para, which is the right hand side, and pura vidhau, it wants to act to the left of that ach. Again, one more time. If you have an ajadesha, including low powers is an ajadesha, it's an adesha of 0. And if you're talking about something which is the right hand side of which is parasmin, if that wants to do an operation to the left hand side of that ach adesha, pura vidhau, then that ach which was done in adesha has sthanivat bhava, as if it is still there. That ach is as if it is still there. The lopa which we did, that has to be kind of undone when it comes to a parapratyaya trying to do a purva karyam. So the 1157, let's check all the conditions here. We did do an ajadesha because the lopa is an adesha of a 0. So here really we have a gan plus the 0 we have. We have this 0 over here, which was the ajadesha. And this is the parapratyaya. This e nich is para. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. And it wants to do an operation here by the 72116, which is the atopadhaya. So when that happens, this 0, actually the akara which went away comes and says, I'm still going to be here. It has a sthanivat bhava. So basically it stops the operation. Because now the upadha is no longer it is going to become na. If we take the whole form gana, the penultimate letter now becomes na and not the anymore. Because only because the akara was lost, the penultimate became a. If we take the gana, then the penultimate is now na and not a. So now the 72116 has lost application. So this was the whole idea of keeping the in the dhatu gana, making into the ato lopaha, but then by the 1157, achaf parasin pura vidhau. Achaf parasin pura vidhau. So the ajadesha has sthanivat bhava, as if it is still there. That old ach is still there. When you're talking about something to the right, wanting to act to the left. So you cannot cross over this ajadesha without giving it the sthanivat bhava. So 1157. So this is the same rule. This is nothing to do with the future tense, by the way. This is the same rule we would have applied when you did the lat lakara also. So when you do lat lakara, we have done the same rule, and you have done the get the form ganayati, ganayataha, ganayanti, the same rule. This is just a review for most of you. So the achaf parasin pura vidhau, achaf parasin pura vidhau. It has to be an ajadesha in place of an ach, and you have to be talking about something to the right, operating to the left of this ajadesha. Then in that case, the ach comes back, and only in that case. Otherwise, no, it has actually gone away. So this 1157, let me check the number again. Yeah, 1157 stops the the 72116. So I hope this is clear enough, but you can practice maybe.
Hari,
Yes.
Hari has a hand raised.
Oh, Hari is.
Yeah, Satish ji.
Yes, yes, Hari.
Yeah, I have a question. So when we say achaf parasmin purvidau, the anuvritti of stanivat and adesha is coming down. So achah adesha, which I think that achah is in shashti, right?
Yes, yes.
So that means that when he says achah adesha,
Let's look at the vritti what it says. So let's go there just to make it clear for everybody in the class. So 1157, right? Let's see what it says. Achah parasmin pura vidhau. Okay. 1157. Let me take it back there. 1150. You always check the vritti. That will give you the good. Always good to see what's going on. Again, the numbers are slightly off in this document, but let's see. Kashika. So, alvidyartham arabhyate anesha achayati sthani vidya prasminiti nimitta saptami iti vishay saptami. So, this is the one. Ajadesha paranimittakaha. Okay, this is also what has been pura vidhau kartavye sthanivad bhavati. So, this ajadesha so paranimittakaha also should have been caused by that nish pratyaya. So the pura vidhau kartavye sthanivad bhavati. So it has a sthani. The sthani was the akara which went away. So it takes the bhava of that sthani. So it goes back to being the which was the sthani which it replaced. It becomes sthanivad. So what is the question again, Hari?
So I was trying to figure out how the meaning is derived from the sutram. So because the sutram says achah adesha stanivat, right? So
that's so the acha. So in place of the ach,
right.
In this case we have the adesha was the lopa, which is a 0.
Right.
That adesha has sthanivat, means that the sthani which was the ach which went away, that was the sthani. So that was holding the sthanam previously. So that this lopa which is a 0, it becomes basically the akaravat.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And when
so the lopa is considered to be like an akara.
Exactly. Like sthanivat means the akaravat which went away. Sthani was the which went away. That
Okay, so that was just confusing to me because if we had instead of a lopa, if we had some other letter coming, then that would have been clearer in the sense that it's sthanivat. But lopa is supposed to have no sthana, right? It's a vacuum.
No, not vacuum. It is a 0. It has a place, but it is a 0. So if it becomes sthanivat, it is going to take the old one prior to that.
Okay.
So so that is the in fact the sutram is what adarshanam lopa. Adarshanam lopa, Hari.
Right.
So adarshanam means you just cannot see it, but it is still there. Adarshanam lopa. Let me look at what Satya has to say something. Let's see.
I'm just saying that maybe the differences between lopa and luk and all this.
Yes. So between the luk shlu lupaha, they're completely kind of wiped out. But only adarshanam lopaha. So the adarshanam lopaha that in fact let's go there for a second. Adarshanam lopaha, what number is that? Adarshanam lopaha.
1160.
1160. Okay, adarshanam lopaha. Actually even there, Satya, the pratyas luk shlu lupaha, this is also adarshanam. The only difference between these three is that you don't get the angakaryam, nalumata angasya. So only difference is that the entire pratyaya goes away. Pratyasya luk shlu lupaha. The whole pratyaya goes by luk shlu and lup. And it cannot do any angakaryam because of nalumata angasya. Otherwise, adarshanam is continuing for both of them.
Okay.
Adarshanam is fine. So yes, Hari. So that there is adarshanam lopaha only, which is not being seen, it is still there, but it is not to be seen anymore. But then when you get sthanivat, then it becomes the akara again.
Satishji, this 1156 already says sthanivat adesha. Is 1157 because of anal vidhau is being
anal vidhau? Yes, anal vidhau. So now that you cannot invoke that that is still there. I think here if you look at the vritti, you had even Kashika was saying something. So alvidhi.
But it's not alvidhi, right? Okay, because it's an alvidhi, that's why we need the sutram.
Yes, because he says, look at what Kashika says. Alvidyartham idam arabhyate. See, purvena anal vidhau sthanivad iti uktaha. Al vidyartham idam arabhyate. So now we require an al vidhi over here. So we don't even just say we want the to be there specifically, that al should be there. So yeah, otherwise that's correct. What Kalpesh and Hari is saying, that from the Prasuttam we had anal vidhau. So that's the problem that we were having, So but this is an al vidhi, that has to be there, Zero will not do the job. So that is what. So good. That's a good clarification. This is good because the prior sutram has sthanivad adesha anal vidhau. We cannot invoke and say that is still there from the prior. We cannot say that. But here we want that to be there, but only when we have this purva vidhi thing going on. So that ajadesha in this case is a lopaha. It is as if has a sthani vad bhava. Sthani means the placeholder. The placeholder was the which was replaced. So it takes the form of the placeholder, which was the when it comes to the purva vidhi. So after all that, we can stop this 7-2. So this is a difficult concept. I hope you grasp some of it. So this is the whole idea of making this dhatu from katha all to the end of this 40 dhatus. This Panini makes them adanta dhatus. So then we can do the ato lopaha, give it the achaf parasin purva vidha, give it the sthani bhavaha, and we can stop this ato. This whole thing is basically to stop either the atopadhayaha, or it might be to stop the puganda lagupadasya gunaha. When this comes in, so you can work in the reverse also. You can also work in the reverse. If you see nijanta dhatu, which has not taken either the atopadhayaha or the puganda lagupadasya, then most is going to be this rule only. Mostly, not all the time, but it's going to be mostly this rule. It's either going to be this rule, it's either adanta dhatu or the mitam rasvaha. Like, you have the asatoma, sadgamaya, that gamaya didn't become gamaya. So those are mit dhatus, which are 6, 4, 92. So these are the two rules, okay. When you look at the causative forms of the churadi dhatavaha, and when you do not see the atopadhaya taking place, like in asatoma, sadgamaya, or you do not see the puganda lagupadasya guna taking place, then it's either going to be an adanta dhatu, or it's going to be a mit dhatu by the mitam rasvaha. So mitam rasvaha will only work in the case of the atopadhaya, not in the case of puganda lagupadasya, because mitam rasvaha only makes the rasvaha. So the 6492 says that when this nij pratyaya follows, these dhatus which are marked as mer as an it, they go back to rasvaha. That will undo the atopadhaya, like asatoma sadgamaya. That it didn't become gamaya, it became gamaya. So mitam rasvaha will also undo the atopadhaya. But these dhatus are a list of dhatus which are given in the bhavadi gana. Some of them may not even be bhavadi, but they are in the bhavadi gana included, mitam rasvaha. And the other one is these last 40 dhatu in churadi, the kathadayaha, which are going to be adanta dhatus. And they will stop both the atobhadayaha and the puganda lakupadasya ja. Mitam rasvaha will only undo the atobhadaya, will be undone by mitam rasvaha. It will not undo the other one. So that's an interesting point, because mitam rasvaha, it might even undo that, because the thing is that actually I take that back, because if you take, let's say if you have the puganda lakupadasya, if you have the upada as an u or an e, when you do the guna of the e, it becomes a, guna of u becomes o, and because the eche rasva deshe, because the rasva of the a and the au is the a and the I, the rasva is e, and rasva of o and au is u. So I take it back. Mitam rasva also will do the job, the mitam rasva. The reason is that because when Pani says do rasva of the a or the I, rasva of a and I is e, and rasva of o and au is u, because the eche rasva deshe. So mitam rasva, anyway, don't want to confuse you too much. So 6492 and the one which we just saw, this 1157, the two rules when you do not see the vriddhi of the penultimate a. So you can, because I think if you're not going to be composed, you're only going to be reading. When you see some kathayati and all these forms, when you see that, then you immediately can come to these two rules and figure out that one of them must have applied to stop the 72116 or stop this 7386. Try one of these two rules, Mitam Raswaha and the Asapurva Vidhao. Okay, so let's finish this one. We stop the class for today. So after all of that, we were able to stop 72116 because this 0 took the Sthanivat Bhava of the Akaraha, then the Upadha became the Na. So we cannot apply 72116 anymore. So we got the new dhatu now. The new dhatu is Gani. And when you have Gani, then now we have to bring in the pratyaya Sya, and you go through all the steps again, and you go to the tip. Now what happens is that, remember that the 7 to 10 is the Ekach Upadesha Anudaktat. Ekach this is not Ekach dhatu. And Upadesha only has a dhatu Gan, not Gani. So that 7 to 10 cannot stop the idagama of all derived dhatus. So you're going to have the idagama, we have to check. We're going to get the idagama here by the Ardhadhatuka seed Valadehe, going to become Gani Isyati. So now what's going to happen is that we can, because in the book, what I'm trying to derive is in the book he has given the forms, this one, this Ganayishyami, Ganayishyavaha, Ganayishyamaha and all that. And now the one thing you want to check is that there is two rules which I know we are out of time, I will quickly mention, is Niraniti. So Niraniti, Ardhadhatuke, Niraniti, Ardhadhatuke. So Nehe Lopasyat. So if you have the niche forward pratyaya which is Ardhadhatukam, but does not have an idagama, and the niche drops. We do have idagama. We have Gani plus Isya plus Ti. The pratyaya Isya is Ardhadhatukam, because Ardhadhatukam Sheshaha. But it does have an idagama. So we cannot, 6451 does not apply here. That only applies when it have Anidada Ardhadhatuke Pare Ne Lopasyat. This one has the idagama to it. So 6451 and 52 is on Nishtayam Seti. Only Nishtha has to be there. So always you check the 6451, 52. They don't apply here. So for us, the 6451, 52 do not apply. Because 51 requires there to be no idagama. 52 requires the Nishtha, the past participle form to be there. We have the pratyaya Isya. So it does have an idagama. It is not Nishtha pratyaya. So 6451, 52 don't apply here. No, but you should always check them. Anytime you have a niche pratyaya, check the 6451, 52 to see if the niche might be dropping. Doesn't drop here. So now we just do the guna of the E by the Sarvadhatuka, Ardhadhatuka Yoho. You're going to hear that 1,000 times from me, that sutram. Sarvadhatuka, Ardhadhatuka Yoho, 7384, and become Gane. Do the Echo Yavayava Sandhi, become Ganaya. So what we do have to apply, instead we apply the 7384. Do guna of the E becomes A, the Gani becomes Gane, and then do the Echo Yavayavaha, become Ganai. So we get, so after doing these two rules, then we get the, Ganai plus this same Isya plus, and then finally we have to apply our friend 8359, the Adesha Pratyayoho. So Ganesh becomes, and then apply, we change the, apply 8359 to change the Sya to Shya. So then we get Gana Yishyati. And then the remaining ending we already did in the class today. So now we just have to, so we get what? I'm sorry. Okay. So Ganayishyati, Ganayishyataha, Ganayishyanti, Ganayishyasi, Ganayishyataha, Ganayishyatha, Ganayishyami, Ganayishyavaha, Ganayishyamaha. Always repeat these as many times as you can, because try to get in your mind also. So Ganayishyati, Ganayishyataha, Ganayishyanti, Ganayishyasi, Ganayishyatha, Ganayishyatha, Ganayishyami, Ganayishyavaha, Ganayishyamaha. So that is all. And again, the trademark is that Aya coming in there, Aya. That's what he means in the book by saying that retain the base, same base as in the Lat Lakarha is this whole prakriya of doing the Nich doing the guna, H-O-Y sandhi, all that will be studied here. And next time what we'll do is that we'll start dhatu lab. There's nothing special there. It is an anit dhatu. In fact, we'll do it right now. There's nothing special. It's only said it's an anit dhatu lab. If you want to look at the bhanteshu, this is dhatu lab is anit dhatu, and it doesn't, no idagama is allowed there. Only thing with the kharicha. The kharicha. When the lab is followed by a letter which is khar, it becomes char. So when you have any jal letter followed by a letter which is khar, any hard consonant, then that jal becomes to char, become number one column. So kharicha. It's only a sandhi rule, nothing to do with this lakara, nothing to do with anything that we're doing here. It's only the kharicha rule comes. The 8-4 I think is 55 is kharicha. So I think anurutti of jhalam is coming. So jhalam khari pare charasyahu. So that bha becomes pa by kharicha. Excuse me. So we will stop with that. So just put that in the document. So in the lab, when you have the lab plus no idagama is anit dhatu, and then we already did the kita padam tere lapsyate. So apply kharicha. Apply 8-4-55. Only one simple sandhi rule to change the bha to again here also you can recite the forms. So what will we have? We will have lapsyate, lapsyete, lapsyante, lapsyase, lapsyethe, lapsyadve, lapsye, lapsyavahe, lapsyamahe. So let's stop with that. And now the next time only the last paragraph here, and these are all mainly sandhi rules. I think I gave the rules last time. For dhatu grah is 7-37. This long gru ending is 7-38. Gru tova. This one are all sandhi rules. Okay, all sandhi rules. So you have to do the hodha, then do the shtunashtuhu, the dhode lopaha. So 8-31. Then you have to do the also jashastator dhodaha. So let's look at 8-31, 8-40, 8-4-41, 8-3-13. Many of you know all these rules. Dhatu prach 8-36. Look at that one. After dhatu vas is 7-4-49. And the last one is 6-1-58-59. So that's for next time. Okay. I'll stay back for questions. We'll do the Mangalacharanam. Ramo Raja Manis Sada Vijayate Ramam Ramesham Bhaje Ramena Abhiyata Nishachara Chamu Ramaya Tasmai Namaha Raman Nasti Paranam Parataram Ramasya Dasosmyaham Rame Chittale Sada Bhotame Bho Rama Mamuddhara Rama Rame Tirame Tirame Rame Manorame Sahasanama Tattulyam Rama Nama Varanane Shri Rama Nama Varanana Onnamaiti. Any questions? I think we can stop the recording.